Hey guys, it's been a while. Well, to be exact, it's been 3 months since my 3D printed mouse video. And I just want to say, thank you guys so much for all the support you gave me on that video. I received so much support, in fact, that I was able to exchange some of it for a brand new super light. Check this out, look how cool it is. But yeah, I figured the most natural follow-up to that video would be to just buy the super lights and, give it a quick review. But before we get into the mouse, I want to address some of the comments that I received on my video. Comments like, lame game, boring game by the way. Yeah, that was cool, but god damn, that game looks boring. And other comments like that. Now, I don't bring this up because I need you guys to defend me or anything, even if it does hurt my feelings. But no, really, actually, these comments got me thinking, is Osu really as great of a game as we think it is? I mean, don't get me wrong, the game is fun for sure, but is it really fun enough to keep us playing the game for 3, 5, even 8 years? Maybe some of us are looking for a deeper meaning from the game. Fame, popularity, or is it self-validation, perhaps? It can all be kind of tiring, so I've decided what I would try is taking a break from Osu, stepping away from my computer, taking a step outside even. And then going back inside because there's nowhere to go during quarantine and playing some Raid Shadow Legends! Free to play on Android, iOS, PC, and Mac. Raid Shadow Legends is a turn-based fantasy RPG where you can collect hundreds of unique champions, level them up, and take them to battle. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have any expectations going into this game, but when I started playing I was just immediately hooked. There's so much stuff to do in this game. There's a main campaign, there's dungeons, you can fight other players in the arena, and that doesn't even cover the content I haven't reached yet. Apparently there's these really cool clan bosses and a Doom Tower mode, which looks really intimidating. I thought this Dark Knight looking character was really cool, so I maxed out his stats and now he just destroys everything he touches. It's really satisfying to watch. The graphics are pretty impressive for a mobile game, not to mention it has some really cool character designs as well. I recently created my own clan, and currently we have 1 member. The clan size limit is only 30, so be quick and shoot me an invite so I can add you to my clan. Raid is a game that's very much alive, with over 1 million active players and new content being added all the time. This month they released 11 new champions and almost 200 brand new missions to complete, not to mention 5 tough new levels to almost every single dungeon. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click on my links, and support my channel by downloading Raid today. 早速スーパーライトを紹介した。Sorry about that. Okay, back to the mouse. Remember a couple months ago when the trailer first got leaked and everybody was hyping up the mouse like crazy? Well, now that I got a chance to try it out for myself, I can safely say that, yeah, this mouse is incredible. It's the best mouse I've ever used so far. And I say that after using 7 different mice over roughly 10 years or so of gaming. So first we can talk about the main selling points about this mouse. The mouse weighs 63 grams. Which doesn't make it the lightest mouse out there, but it's actually very light considering the size of the mouse and the fact that it has no holes either. So it's quite an impressive engineering feat in my opinion. But does weight even matter? Is it just a marketing gimmick? Well, in my opinion, I think it matters a lot, especially for Osu, where almost every second of gameplay, you have to make very fast and precise movements. To illustrate this, let's say you're trying to hit this pattern and you're like, oh my god, this is too fast. Okay, let's think about it. What options do you have aside from playing more? You might say, well, maybe I can increase my sensitivity. This is actually a pretty decent option, but only up to a certain extent. See, whenever you increase your sensitivity, you're making a deliberate trade-off between speed and precision. To illustrate this, we can actually look at tablet area. When you go from a large tablet area to a smaller tablet area, the distance between 2 circles is reduced, but the precision requirement is increased because the circles themselves have become smaller. And the same idea applies for mouse. So for this reason, I wouldn't recommend increasing your DPI to absurd levels. Okay, let's look at another option. You can reduce the friction of your mouse pad. So for example, I'm using a Logitech G440, and this mouse pad is like really slippery. So personally, I actually really like this solution, because obviously with the lower friction mouse pad, it's going to be easier to move the mouse quicker. But at the same time, you do lose a little bit of control because the mousepad is more slippery. But I think it's a pretty good trade-off, at least in my opinion. And finally, we can reduce the weight of the mouse. You might already see this coming, but in my opinion, this is the best way to immediately make your aim faster. It's a lot easier to move the mouse very fast, but you don't get any precision penalty that comes with increasing your DPI, nor do you get any control penalty that you get with having a more slippery mousepad. In fact, I'd say you get even more control, especially when it comes to very fast, small, and controlled movements. So tech patterns, basically. So another big selling point is that the mouse is wireless. So how do I feel about wireless? It's pretty nice to have, I guess. For FPS games at least, where you have to make large movements with your hand, I think it matters a lot. But for Osu, I don't think it matters that much. In terms of affecting your mentality, however, I think it's nice to completely eliminate core drag, because you know Osu players like to blame just about everything for not playing good. As for the downsides of wireless, I don't think there really are any. I know in the past, manufacturers had to sacrifice input latency and weight to achieve wireless, but through the miracle of modern engineering, it seems like that isn't even a thing anymore. And, you know, this mouse is just the perfect example of that. You do have to charge it like once every 1 or 2 weeks, but I don't really count that as a downside because, you know, I really don't care. It's not that hard to charge it, honestly. At least you're not buying new batteries like you have to with the G305. By the way, there is one thing I want to mention. As you know, the input latency on the Superlight is basically identical to any other wired mouse. But one tip I learned recently is that if you double or quadruple your DPI, you can actually reduce your input latency by about 1 millisecond on average. There's been quantitative tests verifying this, and it's also been confirmed by an actual engineer working at Logitech. And this also seems to affect most mice in general, not just wireless. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys because I completely had no idea this was even a thing. And to be honest, I'm not even sure what the explanation is. So you might ask, how much is this 1 millisecond difference? Well, for me, it's just barely noticeable. But I know some people did say that their mouse felt snappier and more responsive. So yeah, if it's a free advantage, you might as well take it. Let's talk about the shape. The shape is really nice. There's really nothing to complain about. It's a very safe shape, and considering Logitech was probably aiming for this to be their flagship mouse, I think they were going for a one-size-fits-all approach. It fits really comfortably in my hand, and I'm able to aim perfectly fine with it. So that being said, this is a mouse that fits in the medium category. So it's noticeably larger than mice like the G305, Razer Viper Mini, and MM710, as these mice are considered to be in the small category. My hand length is around 18 centimeters, and I'm able to use all the mice that I mentioned perfectly fine. So I'd say unless your hands are way bigger or smaller than mine, I don't think you'd have any issues with the size of this mouse. So yeah, I've been using this mouse for around 2 months now, and man, I'm just absolutely in love with this mouse. Just to recall my first few months using this mouse, I just remember being so amazed at how suddenly it just became so easy to aim and hit jumps and all that. Everything about this mouse, the surface material, weight distribution, the build quality, just the way it feels in the hand, it just feels so good. So yeah, it's the greatest mouse I've ever used. It's the king of all mice. There isn't really anything that comes close to it, aside from maybe a certain other mouse that I haven't had the chance to buy, because the release was a total flop. So yeah, with all that being said, would I recommend buying the Logitech G Pro X Superlight? To be honest, for 90% of you, I'd say no. And the reason for that is because there are some very good mice that you can buy right now that cost less than half as much as the Superlight. And when you have options like those, you really gotta ask yourself if it's worth all that money. In fact, those alternatives might actually be better suited for you than the Superlight. That's always a possibility. But yeah, I guess if you're a hardcore pro gamer like me, and you really need the Superlight, then yeah, maybe it is worth the money. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Follow me on Twitch. I know I don't really upload that often on this channel, but I do stream almost every day on Twitch, so please do check me out there. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you hit subscribe, and I'm gonna end this video with some clips I got with the Superlight.